But yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Not much is known about the original languages of Sicily, which were gradually displaced by Greek during the period of Hellenic colonization. But then by the year 241 BC, the Roman Empire had conquered Sicily in the First Punic War and ruled it until the 5th century. Latin began spreading and was the language of administration and the elite, while Greek was still spoken by much of the general population, especially in urban areas and in eastern Sicily.
And then they swap. So Latin becomes the language that everybody speaks, and then Greek becomes the language that the elite start speaking because it makes them sound cultured.
Many people became bilingual in Vulgar Latin and Greek.
Not Vulgar Latin, mate. I'm not gonna... Usually I get really mad when people say that, but I like this guy, so I'm not gonna get too mad. But Vulgar Latin, I'm a massive... I attack the notion that Vulgar Latin was a thing. I don't think Vulgar Latin existed. It's Latin. I've already defended this many times, so I'll just do it very quickly. But the idea is, when people say that Romance languages did not, because that's how people say it, he didn't say that, which is why I'm not going to attack him directly. But when people say Romance languages like French, Romanian, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, what have you, they do not derive from Classical Latin, which had already stopped being used. It derived from Vulgar Latin, and they make a distinction. The distinction is nonsense. The idea that they would be two separate languages is not true, and the reality is that it was all Latin. And so yeah, the Romance languages derive from Latin, and the difference between Classical Latin and Vulgar Latin is simply a matter of register, in the sense that, yeah, if you go to a lecture at a university and you listen to a professor giving that lecture in English, he will not use the same vocabulary, and sometimes even the pronunciation may change, or the way he builds up his structures, his syntax will be different to the way maybe someone speaks in the streets. But it's still all English. It's not that one is vulgar English or one is classical English that then dies, and then it's all English, and they are just different registers. And these registers are affected as well by the written versus spoken form of any vernacular. For instance, you're inside an elevator or a lift and you listen to a recorded voice, and they might swap the order of some nouns, for instance, sometimes. Floor 9, like, it will sound different, but it's all English.
Many people became bilingual in Vulgar Latin and Greek. In the year 535, the Western Roman Empire fell, leaving Sicily as part of the Byzantine Empire. Its official language was Greek. Greek experienced a revival in some areas, but others remained Latin-speaking, especially Western Sicily. Then in the 9th century, Sicily came under Arab rule, first under the Aghlabid dynasty and then the Fatimid Caliphate. Greek and Latin declined as a form of Arabic called Siculo-Arabic became widely spoken. This variety of Arabic is actually the ancestor of the Maltese language. After the Normans conquered Sicily in the 11th century, they encouraged the use of Latin and Romance dialects, meaning Vulgar Latin and Norman French, and Arabic declined. The variety of Vulgar Latin spoken there was beginning to develop into a distinct language.
Yeah, you see, it's the same kind of situation that I was saying. There is Latin, then Latin evolves into Vulgar Latin, Latin dies, and then from Vulgar Latin you have these. I personally think this is nonsense. But everything else was great. The history was good. I love that he put Sicilian from Latin rather than putting it underneath Italian. So I guess one negative, one positive, they annihilated themselves. Plus he used BC, so he got 10 points because of that.
Language, Sicilian, with some influence from Arabic and Norman French, as well as Greek. As Sicilian developed, Sicily continued to be ruled by a succession of different rulers, including the Crown of Aragon, which brought Catalan influence, and the Spanish Habsburg dynasty, which brought Castilian influence. Words of Arabic origin.
There we go, you see?
It doesn't seem to me like a huge number of Arabic loanwords are still used in Sicilian, but some are. For example, the word balata, meaning stone or a slab or a
I confirm that. I do use it, and when it's really big, we say balatone. When it's really big, it's a balatone big. Yeah, we say that, correct?
Tile, from Arabic, balat. The word
gelo,
meaning ice, comes from Arabic, jala,
tabboto,
meaning coffee.
Gelu, would I... Well, I guess, yeah. Is it from Arabic, though? I don't know the etymology of this, but gelu sounds a lot like the Latin word for it. So I don't know if that's correct. Tabbutu, coffin. Yes, but that one is not something like the youth would use today, at least in my area. Maybe in the rural areas. In the cities, we don't really use that much. But it is correct, though. He's not wrong.
Coffin comes from Arabic, tabut. There were also some words that were borrowed from Norman French, though these may not stand out as much because they were borrowed from one Romance language into another. The word
ammucciare,
meaning to hide.
Ammucciare, yeah. It's to hide. It can be used both for things or for people. Ammucciati is like Hide yourself. Yeah, correct.
It comes from Norman French, bucce,
That's it.
Bucciere.
meaning butcher, comes from Norman French, bucce.
I never heard that one, but maybe it's not used in Palermo, but it might be used somewhere else. Vuceri. Oh, maybe I like a vucceria. No, but that one is just the noise. I don't know that one. Foddi. Yeah, crazy.
Fogge.
Meaning mad or foolish, comes from Norman French, folle.
Does it? Because in Italian it's folle. Also, this sounds more like Eastern Sicilian to me. I would say fuad. I would add a U before the O. Sì, un fuad to tell someone you're crazy. But I do know friends in Catania that do say it like this exactly. Racina. A racina.
Racina.
Yeah.
Meaning grape, comes from Norman French, razin.
A racina.
Raggia.
Meaning rage,
Yeah.
comes from Norman French, rage. The Italian word is.
Rabbia.
Correct.
Both the Italian and the Norman French word came from Latin, rabbia.
Man, he did perfect. All the Sicilian words are great, and I love that he uses native speakers to pronounce them. He did a fantastic job with the Sicilian words.
So the Sicilian and Italian words are related, but in a roundabout way. There was also Greek influence on Sicilian, like I mentioned. Here are a few examples.
Babbiare.
To joke.
Yeah.
This comes from the ancient Greek word babazo, which means something like to speak incomprehensibly.
We use this one all the time. Babbiare. Sai sababbiano means I'm joking. Cusci sababbiano. Yeah, we use it. 100% we use it. Putia, that's a shop. Yeah. A putia. In Italian is negozio, but in Sicilian è a putia. Minnivo ravanza putia. Vitti un cristiano ravanza putia. Putia, that's how we say it. With my mom, we would use this one as a joke, because my mom preferred to use the Italian word, but as a joke, the nissa putia. Putia.
Apotea.
Meaning the shop. This comes from Greek, apotheke, the word
Tempolata.
meaning slap, from Greek, kypto.
Ti piglio a timpolate. It means I'll hit you with a slap. Strummola.
Word
Strummola.
meaning spinning top, from Greek, strombos.
I don't even know. I don't know this one. Again, it doesn't mean he's wrong. It might just mean that I don't know it because we don't use it in my area, maybe. Or maybe I just don't know it. Oh, a strummola, the little toy. Okay, I got it. Now I got it. Took me a second. Now I got it.
The word
Schetto.
and
Schetta.
meaning single, as in unmarried, from Greek, sketos, meaning simple.
In my area, we would say schietto. With a little I added here, schietto.
Some words like these are generally common in Sicilian, but I understand that
Yeah.
there are more words of Greek origin in Sicilian dialect spoken further to the east.
Yeah, makes sense.
Variation in vocabulary is not limited to Greek loanwords, of course.
Actually, my father, he told me that in some area of Palermo itself, the word butcher that we translated with bucciere can have two other words, because, for example, the word that I know for butcher is bucciere and also
Vuccieri. Yeah.
carnezziere.
Carnezziere is how I would say it.